Evening, everyone. Coming back at you hot with free tips from when life throws you punches. So my post earlier today was about getting back up when life is throwing you punches. So just coming with some tips on what you can do when you feel like life's beating you down a bit. But I'm going to give you a few minutes to come and join me. I was laughing just before I joined because normally I've got to turn the studio light on so you can see me, but tonight I'm having to use the studio light as a shade. Yeah, that's right, as a shade, because it's so sunny and so bright. Now my Instagram saying that I've not got a signal. I have got a signal. I know I have. But you know, Dale, if you're on Instagram and it does cut out, hashtag replay, head over to the Facebook group, head over to the YouTube to catch the replay if it is cutting out. I never trust technology. Sometimes it says it's cutting out when it's not, and it's completely cool. All right, team, so let's get into it because I know it's a beautiful sunny evening here and you don't necessarily want to be in front of your screen. So when life throws punches, so this can be anything. This can be work stuff getting on top of you. It could be medical related. It could just be some bad news, or you just feel like things aren't going your way. It could be that you need to get the roof fixed. It could be that you need a new windows. That it's just like your holiday getting cancelled. The company's decided that there's not enough people, they're going to cancel your holiday. Just think about all the scenarios that people have had lately. And you can just feel like, oh, it's another thing on top. It's another thing. And it can get you down. And that is my first tip, is just to allow yourself, hi Becca, just allow yourself to feel the emotions. So when you feel like life's getting on top of you, don't push the emotions down with busyness, because as females, we do that quite a bit. We push ourselves down with busyness. And that's a way of burying our emotions. So it's just acknowledge the emotions where you're feeling angry, you're feeling fed up, you're just a bit pissed off, whatever it may be, that's okay. Just don't bury the emotions, let them be. Like say, I think in the past, I'm definitely guilty of someone who's used busyness as a way to bury my emotions and not deal with things how I'm feeling. And people are like, how are you doing? You're like, yeah, I'm good, I'm great, thanks. And what do? You end up comforting. You end up snacking on the crisps, soft drinks, or you don't eat at all, and then you end up binging at the weekends, or you're trying to get fitter and get into fitness and you end up skipping your workouts. So when we try to bury the emotions and ignore the emotions and push them away, they start to eat into the healthy habits we're trying to accumulate and build up on. So it can really derail you. Now, as much as I say embrace the emotions, what I would also say is don't let the emotions overtake. So yes, acknowledge them, journal, get it out, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's a bit of artwork, maybe it's just journaling, writing down, scribbling on paper, whatever it may look like for you. It might be doing your fitness, rally out on the spin bike, whatever it is, but do not let it become all consuming, because it's easy to get stuck in the emotions, the negativity, and it's hard to pull yourself back out of that. And with things like depression, low moods, that's where people get stuck. They get stuck in the emotion and they can't lift themselves out of it. So yes, acknowledge the emotion, acknowledge what it is that's going on that you're frustrated by, but clear your mind and then move on from it. I'm not saying that problem is going to go away, but in terms of going, right, I've felt my emotions, I've acknowledged them, I need to then take action, because let's face it, if it's within your control, it's then doing the action plan around what can I do to improve the situation. If it's without your control, it's going, well, actually, I need to let it go. So think about putting a tick beside, I can't speak tonight. Think about putting a tick beside the things that are in your control and a cross beside things that are out with your control. And from that basis, work on that. The things that you can't control, let go. The things that you have got influence over, think about, okay, this is how I feel about it. I've journaled out my emotions. I'm not happy about it. What are the actions I can do in order to resolve that or ease that, whatever that punch is that life's giving you. And then it's about focusing on the small wins. So if I look at, for example, that you've maybe had news about a relative, they're not very well at the moment, you're kind of worried about them. I know lots of my clients have elderly clients. I told you I can't speak tonight. Lots of my clients have elderly parents. And with that aging comes illness. And a lot of time can be spent worrying about their parents and worrying about what they're going to go through, what's the next steps for them, are they needing more home help, those sort of things. And when that stuff takes over, that's when you can drop the things that are good for you. You can put what's good for you to one side, because again, as females, we're the carers, right? We look after people. We want to make sure people are happy, they're not in pain, they're not suffering, and do as much as we can. And often, and I've seen it before, where clients have just completely dropped off their program and gone to look after their parents and gone, this is where I need to be. And absolutely, I get that. Understand that, but to a point, because where does it come in that you start looking after yourself again? And sometimes these can be really long-term conditions that you have no control over. The aging process, who knows how long that's going to go on for. And then if you ditch your workouts, if you ditch your nutrition and all the things that are good for your mental health, then you're going to go keep spiraling. So that punch that life's given you ends up being several knockouts, okay? And it's impacting your health. So think about, yes, emotions, what you can control, what you can't control, but also what you need to do to get back on track. So if life's punching you, what are the actions you need to take to punch back, right? Take control back. And that's where I talk about the small wins being the fundamentals. Your fundamentals, your hydration, eating your protein, getting your sleep, eating whole foods. It can be easy during times of pressure to go for the comfort and go for the convenience foods, but it's really about the basics and moving your body in a way that you enjoy. That is key. We don't move to punish our bodies, we move for enjoyment. Yes, we might have to do training to help us for that thing that we enjoy, but ultimately it's about focusing on small wins, which is your foundations. Have I had breakfast this morning? Have I hydrated today? Have I moved my body? Have I done a meditation, if that's your thing? Have I got outside for a walk? Whatever things are your small fundamentals that you use, so it keeps you going on a daily basis. Think about it this way. You don't want to have to use a parachute, right? You've got a parachute on. You don't want to have to pull the parachute cord because you've had a crisis because life is punching at you and you've dropped all the things that are good for you. What you want to do is have that parachute as a backup, but you don't want to use it, right? Don't really want to use it until you totally have to. So by focusing on the small wins, the small basics around nutrition, around health, mental and physical, that can help prevent you needing to use a parachute. Okay, so then focus on those small wins and acknowledge what I've done well today. What can I do better tomorrow? And it's not about better tomorrow, beating yourself up and going, oh, why didn't I just do that thing? It's accepting where you are today, going, okay, if something didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to be, what can I do differently tomorrow? What's the barrier around that? How can I change that? And this is where the third thing comes in. Support. So support is important because if you are doing something like punching at you, it's really important, one, to express your emotions to someone else, explain what's happening, what you're going through. And I get not everyone wants to share. I personally find it very hard to share. I personally find it very hard to ask for help because for much of my life, I've had to do everything on my own. So therefore, with my husband, I find it very hard to actually say, can you help me? Because I'm just used to having to get on and do things myself. I've not had people around to support me. So that can be hard to do. But it's about sharing your emotions, which again can be uncomfortable, but letting someone know where you're at, rather than saying, yeah, I'm good, when you're not. Sharing those emotions, just sharing where you're at, what's going on in your life, the things that you're going to do. Again, share your actions with people. This is what I'm doing to try and keep on track. This is what I'm doing to help me be resilient to these punches. And actually, if something is not happening because you're like, I've not done that thing because I was doing the washing up, I've not done that thing because I needed to do the hoovering, then that support can be, can you give me a hand with the housework so then I can prep my breakfast for the morning or lunch for going into the office? So there's different things you can do to help bring people in to support you. Because guess what, ladies, we don't have to do it all ourselves. I know we're glands for punishment and we'll get in a rage and we'll be like, oh, it's all right for them, sitting watching telly while I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But we've not asked anyone for help, right? So we're getting wound up, but we've not asked anyone. And that pressure builds and builds until you erupt or something else happens. So it's really about making sure you're asking for help. And I mean, I use the housework as one, small example, but it could be as much as if you've got kids. Can you take kids for half an hour so I can just sit and breathe, so I can go out for a walk on my own? Is asking for that help to go, okay, what are the things that I need to do for my mental, physical health that aren't happening because of X, Y, and Z? Who can I get in my support group to help me with that so that I can look after myself more? And that overall is going to help you be more resilient and help you get back up quicker. And the more you look after the small wins, as I call them, around your nutrition, your sleep, your hydration, your movement, the quicker you can bounce back, the more resilience you have against whatever life is punching at you. And I always say that, especially with sleep, like your resilience when you've had a good night's sleep is wildly different than if you're waking up every hour. If you've only had 3-4 hours sleep, your resilience is like bottom. And off the back of that, because you're dragging yourself around, you're not going to make good nutrition choices. You're not going to make good choices around whether to work out or go out for a walk or not. You're just not going to want to move your body because you're so fatigued. And then chances are hydration's out the window too. So it's really fundamentals all come from those small wins around nutrition, movement, sleep, stress management, and everything else layers on top of that, because then you'll be able to recognize your emotions, talk about your emotions, take action, think about where you can and can't take action, focus on the things you can influence, and then also look at who can help with this and actually feel like you can ask for help without feeling like you're burdening people or you're somehow failing because, oh God, I've got to go and ask someone to do this. I should be able to do this myself. I should be able to do that. I've always been able to do that. It's okay to ask for help. I know it's not easy, but it's okay to do. All right, team. Hashtag replay if you're on a replay. You know the deal. And DM me if you've got any questions. But I'm just going to summarize that. So 3 tips on when life is punching. Life is punching you, not in the direction you want to be. Embrace your emotions, acknowledge them, journal them, let them out, but don't get stuck in them. Share them with other people. Focus on the small wins around your nutrition, your movement, your hydration, your sleep, and ask for help. Ultimately, if you're struggling and you're not getting your small wins, your fundamentals done, ask for help to help you do these things whilst life is punching at you. And if you're thinking, what does she know? What does she know about resilience? I have been through a lot in my life that most of you don't know anything about. And it's not here as a badge of honor. It's not here as a, oh, bless, poor Julie. It's just to say I've been through a lot. If I'll take my right leg for a start, right leg and ankle break, before we had this social media stuff going on, before we had this video conferencing, being in my own personal lockdown, being on my own all day on crutches and being a size 18, horrendous. To more recently, my knee op, which was another kind of blow 8 weeks, well, probably about 10 weeks ago now. So yeah, I've been through a lot. Life will always punch. That is part of life. It can't always be good, can't always be smooth. There's things that are going to come and punch us and try and push us down and grind us down. But your strength and your character is how you bounce back and how quickly you do that. And it's not about pushing away the emotions and not acknowledging it. It's about acknowledging it, focusing on what you can do, looking after yourself and asking for help throughout. And that is the key to if you're wanting lifestyle change. So if you're wanting to be healthier, if you want to move more, you want to be stronger, the fundamentals are going to be around resilience. So when life hits, life punches, that stuff doesn't go out the window because something's happening in your life. You got to be disciplined. You got to be on that stuff because it's going to help you through, not hinder you. And then you're not going to have that feeling of, oh, months have gone by and it's all gone and you just give up. Yeah, you can only fail if you give up. But if you keep bouncing back, keep coming back, standing up and getting back on, getting the momentum, and then what you'll find is the more occurrences, because like I say, life's always going to hit, the more times that life hits, the quicker you'll come back to the point that when life hits, you don't need to come back. You know what you need to do for your basics. You've got your small wins. You know what you need to focus on. You've got that. And it's a case of working through that thing, but everything else remains because you know how to deal with it. All right, team, a little bit of mindset this evening, but I think it's important because I know a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff right now. Could myself, we're always going through stuff, right? Life is always punching, but focus on the basics and it will really help you. All right, any questions, give me a shout, or if you're still like, oh, what? How does that fit with nutrition and fitness, Julie? What does that mean for me? Then drop me a note. You know I'm always in the DMs, and go enjoy your sunshine. Or if it's bedtime for wherever you are, then go in and have a good rest. Take care. Thanks for joining. See you tomorrow.